Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Always, yet another Pottercast. Today's chapter is chapter 14 of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback. I, for the first time in my life, realized I don't care for this chapter very much. I just don't care for this plot.
Me neither. I also, when we get to it at the end of the chapter, I have some big old issues with a few different things, which are not so much. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to the things that I have big issues with. But for now, Quirrell, however, must have been braver than they'd thought. In the weeks that followed, he did seem to be getting paler and thinner, but it didn't look as though he cracked yet. Which is great because actually the reason he's getting paler and thinner is because of old Voldemizzle, who's
Hanging out on the backside of his head.
hanging out on the backside of his head, being like, "I can't believe you let those people throw snowballs at me. Also, it stinks in."
I know. Okay,
Like,
this is.
crack a window, Quirrell.
I know. Okay, this is so cute to me. Every time they passed the third floor corridor, Harry, Ron, and Hermione would press their ears to the door to check that Fluffy was still growling inside. Like, they're checking on Fluffy because they're so worried.
Yeah, I love that.
I find that adorable. And then, whenever Harry passed Quirrell these days, he gave him an encouraging sort of smile. And Ron had started telling people off for laughing at Quirrell's stutter. That's very unlike Ron, I think.
Yes, and also very adult of them, but at the same time, you want to be like, he evil. Stop
I
it.
know.
Stop that.
He doesn't deserve the kindness that you're treating him with, but also way to be kind.
Yeah. Like, you get 10 points for effort, even if it is misplaced.
Even if you're being kind to Voldemort, basically.
Hermione, however, in a, like, master of the universe mood,
Yes.
had more on her mind than the Philosopher's Stone. She had started drawing up revision timetables and color coding all her notes. Harry and Ron wouldn't have minded, but she kept nagging them to do the same. Hermione, exams are ages away. 10 weeks, Hermione snapped. That's not ages. That's like a second to Nicholas Flamel. But we're not 600 years old, Ron reminded her. Anyway, what are you revising for? You already know it all.
What am I revising for? Are you mad? You realize we need to pass these exams to get into the second year.
Yeah, and then at the end of the book, you find out that literally everyone passed.
I know. I feel like these exams are really not all that important. Oh, but it's so funny. They're very important. I should have started studying a month ago. I don't know what's got into me. Queen Hermione.
Yeah, I know. And the teachers feel the same. They've given them lots of homework, so much so that the Easter holidays weren't nearly as much fun as the Christmas ones.
Hogwarts homework stresses me out. Like, it stresses me out to hear that they have this much homework. And she doesn't even say how much it is, really.
Yeah, homework was literally the bane of going to school. I want to say it was so stupid.
Homework always stressed me out to no end.
I genuinely think that homework should not be a thing.
Yeah,
You
I agree.
go to school for 8 hours a day. When they go home, they shouldn't have to then do more work. Leave them alone.
I know. I feel like, yeah, even being homeschooled, I only went to school once a week, and I don't know how people who go to school 5 days a week all day do it, because we had so much homework, and we had,
But you also had a lot of homework because you didn't go to school the other 4 days of the week.
That's true.
So what else were you going to be doing?
I don't
know. So teachers felt the same way, giving them lots of homework. Ron is starting to get very stressed. Also, Harry, who was looking up Dittany, which ends up being super important later on, saves Ron's life after he gets blown.
Yes. I was thinking about that too. I saw that and I was like, that comes back in Deathly Hallows. I love it.
For real, it does.
So then they're in the library, and then we see Hagrid coming into the library, a very unusual place to see him. Wonder what he's doing. And I'm going to go see what section he was in, said Ron, who'd had enough of working. He came back a minute later with a pile of books in his arms and slammed them down on the table. Dragons, he whispered. Hagrid was looking up stuff about dragons. Hagrid's always wanted a dragon. He told me so the first time I ever met him, said Harry. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But it's against
I
our
also love that.
laws, said Ron. Dragon breeding was outlawed by the Warlocks Convention of 1709. Everyone knows that.
I love when Ron knows something, he really knows it.
He
He's
really
like,
does. But then,
I love when Harry's like, but there aren't wild dragons in Britain, said Harry. Of course there are, said Ron. Common Welsh, Green, and Hebridean blacks. The Ministry of Magic has a job hushing them up, I can tell you. Our lot have to keep putting spells on muggles who spotted them to make them forget. Love it.
yeah,
Love it.
I never noticed that. I'm glad you pointed that out about Ron, that when he knows something, he really knows it.
Yeah.
He's just a
I
bit
love
lazy about his schoolwork. He's not stupid. He's just a bit lazy.
Yeah, which in many ways is almost worse, but we move on.
Yes, yes.
So they go to see him. It was stifling hot inside, even though it was such a warm day. There's a blazing fire in the grate. This is where we start to get real suspicious, because you're thinking to yourself, yeah, he's definitely got him some dragons.
Yes. Okay, but real quick, before we start talking about that, it says Hagrid made them tea and offered them stoat sandwiches. What's a stoat sandwich?
I presume it's a sandwich with a stoat inside it.
What's a stoat?
Like a weasel?
Ew. That's not a
Yeah,
real thing, is it? That people
I
eat?
don't think so.
Okay. Because sometimes the ruling just makes up like magical little details that are not British. They're just magical. So hopefully
Very,
Brit
very, very little about being British is magical. So
hopefully Brits don't eat weasel sandwiches.
I mean, if you're hungry enough, anything's food. But
Oh, ugh. Okay, so I like that Harry is just straight up with Hagrid, like that he doesn't beat around the bush, which is very smart of him, I think. We were wondering
yes,
if you could tell us what's guarding the Philosopher's Stone apart from Fluffy. And then, okay, so Hagrid says, no, I can't. And then Hermione says, we only wondered who had done the guarding, really, Hermione went on. We wondered who Dumbledore had trusted enough to help him apart from you. Hagrid's chest swelled at these last words. Harry and Ron beamed at Hermione. Well, I don't suppose it could hurt to tell you that. Yes, it could, Hagrid.
yeah, this is a real dud moment for Hagrid. This is a
Yeah.
real.
I get that it's necessary for the plot, but I don't care for it.
Also, I'm sorry. Can we have? So blah 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 blah. I don't suppose it could hurt to say. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Professor Sprout, Professor Flitwick, Professor McGonagall, Professor Quirrell, and of course, Snape. So which spell Which spell did Quirrell do?
I don't know.
There isn't one that Quirrell did.
We'll have to think more
Hagrid was,
about that.
Hagrid was Fluffy. Sprout
It was
was
Devil's
Devil's
Snare.
Snare. Flitwick
Did
is
the keys. McGonagall did the chess set.
McGonagall did the chess set, and Snape did the potions with the riddle.
Maybe Quirrell.
Nope.
Maybe Quirrell just told everyone he was going to do something and then didn't.
Didn't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I actually just think that's a plot hole.
It probably is actually, now that you mention it.
Much in the same way that we will get onto this in the later chapters, a huge plot hole that there are ways to get past all the different traps. Frankly, you don't. Why would you do that? Why would you have ways to get past them? You don't need.
I don't know.
If you want to keep it safe, then don't have a method by which one might get past them.
Yeah, if 3 11-year-olds can do it, clearly there's some flaws in your.
Yeah, not to mention Dumbledore's thing at the end of not being able to get the stone unless you want it, but not want to use it or whatever, is pretty foolproof. So you know what, we move on.
Yes, and we move on, and yet we're not there yet. Okay, so so you're the only one who knows how to get past Fluffy, aren't you, Hagrid? And you wouldn't tell anyone, would you? Not even one of the teachers. Not a soul knows except me and Dumbledore, said Hagrid proudly. Even though at this point, Hagrid has the dragon egg, and didn't he tell the person who gave him the dragon egg how to get
Yes,
past
he
Fluffy?
did, but he was drunk.
True.
So only then looking back does he go, oh yeah, of course. Well,
okay.
Well, and also let's not forget that at this point, for the sake of this book, it works. But let's not forget that if you wanted to, you could just go up to Fluffy and been like, Avada Kedavra. All right, so we move.
True.
Or, I don't know, Sleepy McSleeperson, whoosh. And
Yeah.
he falls asleep.
Yeah. It's not that hard. Yeah.
Again, if some 11-year-olds can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. This is a character trait of Hagrid's that I just really don't like. His love of monstrous creatures beyond,
logic and reason. And
yes. Which might actually, I mean, I don't know, but okay, I am not a pet person at all. And I know that people get super hung up on their pets, and I don't get that at all. And I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really understand either. I don't understand why you'd pay for something to take a poop in your yard, but still.
Yeah. And so maybe Rowling is just kind of making that trait one of Hagrid's, but then just making it about monstrous creatures, because I'm just, every time he,
yeah, it doesn't quite
declares his love for this dragon, I'm like, shut up, Hagrid, you're stupid.
Yeah, you are. And okay, so we've got the dragon, which is great. I love this. He looked very pleased with himself, but Hermione didn't. Hagrid, you live in a wooden house, she said. But Hagrid wasn't listening. He was humming merrily as he stoked the fire.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, Hagrid, listen a little. Like, think this through just a little bit.
Not to mention it's illegal, and he's already not allowed to do magic, and is not. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the following sentences. So now they had something else to worry about.
Yeah. They always have so much to worry about in every book. It's so stressful.
I wonder what it's like to have a peaceful life, Ron sighed as evening after evening they struggled through all their exam homework they were getting. Hermione had now started making revision timetables for Harry and Ron too. It was driving them mad.
So the dragon begins to hatch, and they take their morning break to go see it hatch, and it's ridiculous. And this line from Hagrid's, bless him, look, he knows his mummy. Oh my gosh. This is literally every pet lover ever.
I know, and I can't handle it. He's basically Daenerys. He's the mother of dragons. I won't be a part of it.
No.
And so, look, he knows his mummy. No, he's not. It's like when people who are like, oh, my animals love me. No, they don't. They literally just recognize that you feed them. It's not.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to diminish that your relationship with your pet is fine. I have no issue with it. But it's a whole chapter. It's a whole chapter about Hagrid and a dragon, which literally 2-3 minutes later is gone.
Yeah. But unfortunately, someone was looking through the gap in the curtains. It's a kid. He's running back up to the school. Harry bolted to the door and looked out. Even at a distance, there was no mistaking him. Malfoy had seen the dragon. Oh no. But yet another instance where Malfoy is like following them around.
Yeah, for real.
What's he doing there? Like, why are you following me, Draco?
Also, it doesn't quite track that he sits on the information for so long.
He definitely would not have sat on it for that long.
Yeah, he would have run back up to the school and been like, hey, there's a dragon.
Yeah, because he would have wanted to get Hagrid in trouble too, even though at this point Hagrid's not a teacher. He doesn't really care. Like, I don't think Hagrid and Malfoy have had any interaction. So Malfoy probably barely notices Hagrid's existence. But I'm sure he would have found it really fun to get an adult in trouble.
For real. And then we find out that he's decided to call him Norbert.
Sick. So Hagrid, said Harry loudly, give it a fortnight and Norbert's going to be as long as your house. Malfoy could go to Dumbledore at any moment. Hagrid bit his lip. I know I can't keep him forever, but I can't just dump him. I can't. Yes, you can, Hagrid, first of all. Yes, you can.
And you do.
So they concoct this plan that Charlie Weasley, Ron's older brother, no, Charlie, your brother Charlie, in Romania, studying dragons. We could send Norbert to him. Charlie can take care of him and then put him back in the wild. It's not actually that bad of a plan.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I just don't feel like wasting a whole chapter talking about it.
Yeah, I don't quite understand. Like, I understand that we needed that Hagrid to have the dragon in order for that Like, because that's a good, like, because the realization that Harry has later in the book about, isn't it a bit strange that the one thing that Hagrid's always wanted more than anything else is a dragon, and someone just turns up that happens to have one? Is a
Mm-hmm.
really good, I like that, because it's pointing a hole in the own, like, at this point in the story, we're all going, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Harry then checks that out, which is good. But why couldn't Hagrid have had the dragon egg, Malfoy have seen it, then someone come and taken it away? That was it.
Yeah.
So it was done anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so Hedwig comes back, and the letter says, "Sure. What about Saturday night?"
So could you get the Ridgeback up the tallest tower at midnight on Saturday? Ooh. I mean, Charlie, you're asking a lot of your little brother.
Yeah, and also, like, Charlie was head boy, right? Why doesn't
No,
Charlie
it was Bill that was head boy, but still.
But still,
Charlie ought to have more sense. I mean, and I get like it has to be the dead of night so no one's around. Like, well, but no, it doesn't. Like they could have easily. Why couldn't Hagrid have some visitors to his hut?
yeah,
Like I don't know.
yeah. It doesn't.
So okay, Norbert bites Ron, and so there was a hitch. By next morning, Ron's bitten hand had swollen to twice its usual size. He didn't know whether it was safe to go to Madame Pomfrey. Would she recognize a dragon bite? By that afternoon, though, he had no choice. The cut had turned a nasty shade of green. It looked as though Norbert's fangs were poisonous. Thank you, Ron. Like, go to the hospital wing. You got bit by a dragon. Like, I think that's a little more important than getting in trouble.
I really enjoy. I told her it was a dog, but I don't think she believes me.
No, she definitely doesn't.
Also told her it was a dog. What? Because there were just dogs at Hogwarts wandering around.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she have had follow-up questions? I feel like if I was the school nurse, my follow-up question would have been, "Where did you get this dog?"
Maybe a student brought it, even though it was not on the list of pre-approved pets, because Ron has a rat, so why couldn't someone bring a dog?
Exactly.
I don't know. But then, midnight on Saturday, he said in a hoarse voice, oh no, I've just remembered. Charlie's letter was in that book. Okay, also, I'm skipping ahead. Malfoy came to see Ron in the hospital wing. Like, I'm worried about Malfoy.
Yeah, at this point, I'm worried. Yeah, I'm worried too. Like, it's an obsession and he needs to get help.
He does. Because he just goes to the hospital wing to see Ron and, like, threaten him. And then he takes this book so that Madame Pomfrey doesn't get suspicious. And Charlie's letter is in the book, so Malfoy knows all about their plan.
But anyway, it's too late to change the plan now, Harry told Hermione. We haven't got time to send Charlie another owl. This could be our only chance to get rid of Norbert. We'll have to risk it. Do you?
Yeah. I'm not so sure. But
also, why doesn't someone just go, Accio letter from Charlie, and it would just whip out of and come to them, and then Malfoy would, you know what, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so they get to Hagrid's hut, and Hagrid had Norbert packed and ready in a large crate. He's got lots of rats and some brandy for the journey, said Hagrid in a muffled voice, and I've packed his teddy bear in case he gets lonely. This is so reminiscent of everything that is wrong with people who are obsessed with their pets, and I can't deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, I would believe that the dragon would get lonely. Creatures do get lonely, but also at the same time, he's going to be with people and other dragons. He doesn't need his teddy bear.
No, he does not. I can't.
Also, dragons. And he's like, oh, what if he gets lonely? I'm his mummy. And you're like, first of all, no. Second of all, you literally use the heartstrings of dragons in wand making.
Yeah.
You clearly don't value them that much.
Yeah, I just can't.
And then he says goodbye to Norbert, and luckily Norbert is about to fly out of the story forever.
Yes, thank goodness. So they make their way up to the astronomy tower, but there's Professor McGonagall, and they're in the invisibility cloak, so it's okay. But
yeah,
Professor McGonagall, in a tartan dressing gown and a hairnet, had Malfoy by the ear. Detention, she shouted, and 20 points from Slytherin. Not fair, but we'll get back to that. Wandering around in the middle of the night, how dare you? You don't understand, Professor. Harry Potter's coming. He's got a dragon. What utter rubbish! How dare you tell such lies? Come on, I shall see Professor Snape about you, Malfoy.
Yeah.
In the next chapter, she is a million times harder on Harry, Hermione, and Neville than she is on Malfoy.
Yeah. Now, that's not my issue. My issue is she's like, how dare you be out of bed at night? And then I imagine her follow up would be, if only you were good at sports, and then I could ignore that you'd done something wrong and give you lots of love and praise.
Maybe. Probably. But then, it does turn out that Malfoy does play Quidditch.
Yes, I know, but that's... Anyway, that's not the point.
Well, yeah, that isn't the point.
What other rubbish? Talking about Malfoy. Charlie's friends were a cheery lot. They showed Harry and Hermione the harness they'd rigged up so they could suspend Norbert between them. At last, Norbert was gone.
It's rather anticlimactic. Like,
yeah, no.
Norbert has caused them all this stress, and then all of a sudden he's just gone, which is good. I'm glad he's gone.
Okay, and now here comes the thing that really bothers me.
Yes.
They slipped back down the spiral staircase, their hearts as light as their hands, now that Norbert was off them. No more dragon, Malfoy in detention, what could spoil their happiness? The answer to that was waiting at the foot of the stairs. As they stepped into the corridor, Filch's face loomed suddenly out of the darkness. Well, 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 we are in trouble. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
They left the invisibility cloak on top of the tower. No, they hadn't. That is, first of all, it's the only thing Harry owns that belonged to his father. There's not a chance in hell he would have left that at the top of the tower. Secondly, Hermione is a genius. Light-hearted or not, they would have definitely, we need to stay covered up by this darn cloak.
Yeah.
I can't even.
100%.
Thirdly, you'd noticed that you weren't invisible anymore. You still got to get back to your room without getting caught, and they know that Filch is going to be out and about.
Honestly.
And fourthly, Dumbledore left Harry in an abusive household for 11 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of the few moments in the book where I'm like, I'm sorry, Rowling, are you really, really letting plot overtake the need for... Literally, why could they not have had the invisibility cloak? They could have had the invisibility cloak, and they trip, and it falls off, and Filch sees them. Done, finished, fine. No, he left the only possession that his dad ever gave him. I get that another reason is so that it can end up on his bed with a note that says, use it well,
right,
or just in case, or whatever, from Dumbledore, but
right.
Still.
Right. It just, yeah. These little mistakes are indicative of a first-time writer writing for children. She hasn't quite found her voice. She hasn't quite worked it all. I mean, I don't know. Again, I have not made billions of dollars from the most wonderful story ever written by anyone. So I shouldn't be judging Rowling too harshly, but also...
Well, especially because the rest of it's so phenomenal, but it is just one of those moments where you think, actually, no. No, they wouldn't have. I don't care that they're 11. It is literally the only thing he owns that belongs to his dead father.
And Hermione is much too smart and much too sensible.
And much too nervous about getting caught. She doesn't want to be in trouble.
Yeah.
It doesn't track.
No, it does not track. So I think the reason I don't like this chapter so much is because of all these things that I'm like, no, this just doesn't track. This just doesn't work for me. I just don't buy it.
Yeah, it feels very much like she needed a mechanism by which to turn the plot, and it's very inorganic.
Yeah. Yes, but that's okay because the next chapter is the Forbidden Forest, which again, I have so many issues with because of how this is used. Because it's a detention.
But also it's a great chapter. So.
It is. It's a fabulous chapter, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So
I feel like I want to say to our listeners, I'm very sorry that you are getting the impression that both of us, potentially mainly me, really hates a lot of Harry Potter because I'm quite critical. I'm not. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I'm just pointing out that there are some big old issues in this first book.
Yes, agreed.
but there are some big old issues.
Yes. I read Harry Potter all the time, constantly. I kind of just go back and forth between books in the
Yeah,
series. When I want something to read, I almost always fall back on Harry Potter. So,
yeah.
and another thing, I cannot travel without a Harry Potter book.
That is true.
I have to,
That is true.
I can't get on a plane without a Harry Potter
Whenever I
book.
whenever I tell people that I reread them on my honeymoon, everyone's like, "Oh, your lucky husband."
That's amazing. All right.
and I'm like, "Yep, he knew what was more important to me."
He knew my priorities. You didn't need to sort out your priorities because he already knew.
No, no, I didn't. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Can you believe we're almost done with this book? We have 3 more chapters to go, I think.
I know. I feel like our listeners wish we'd finished a long time ago, but
I,
still.
it's too bad for them. We have 6 more books to go, so it's going to be great. Bye, everyone.
Bye.